We're with paramedics responding to a 911 call. It seems like an apparent overdose. This is Pembroke, Ontario.
Carrie.
Went in here foaming at the mouth and shaking.
Everywhere you look, it's overdoses.
Wake up, man.
You do not know what it's like to live on the street, have no roof over your head.
Dispatch call 4600.
Do you think first responders will see him again tonight?
Possibly.
I wish I could go back. I don't want to be like this.
There's nothing on my belt here that's going to solve addictions. Why wouldn't we try something new? Because the answer is, if we do nothing, what's going to change?
Priority purple. It means there's an immediate threat to life. My producer Ryan and I, we've been covering this fight against fentanyl. In Ottawa, we sat down with the people who use it. In Belleville, we saw how a toxic batch sent that city into a state of emergency. And now we're turning to Pembroke. We spent 3 days there over the course of a week. It's a small town trying a new solution, and we got rare access to paramedics just trying to keep people alive.
This is Priority Purple, 23 Echo 01 Golf, overdose poisoning.
Can you attach me to that, please? How many here?
800. This is our last day in Pembroke. This town sees more than double the number of fatal overdoses per capita than the rest of Ontario. And we're inside Laurie Shannon's paramedic vehicle, responding to calls most of us never see.
Please, oh my God. Whoever made this drug, oh my God. Oh my God, and that's just a withdrawal.
It's fentanyl. Most overdose calls are. Last year, they got about 900 of these calls.
He's gonna see it's worse than this. It's just starting.
That's Carrie. We've bumped into her every single day that we've been here. She's been in a rough spot, but not like this. It's a town of 14,000 people, so you can't help but run into the same people day after day after day. And Renfrew County is using that to try a new approach. They're sending out paramedics and social workers, finding people where they're at before things get critical. This is day one. We meet Carrie. She's just been robbed, and she's looking for help.
What happened to your ribs, Carrie?
They got broken. I was in a scuffle. We walk down the road, people throw change at us. You crackhead, you need some spare change. You need some food, they'll throw pizza crust. People are very ignorant. You do not know what it's like to live on the street, have no roof over your head, be able to cover up at night, be able to have a bath. Nobody knows what it's like at all. I've been out here for a year. I'm 56 years old and I live on the street. When Messa first came to the grind, I stayed away. I didn't want to get close to them. I don't trust people. But with Laurie, I see her all the time. So I feel really comfortable sharing and telling them the truth and what's the matter with us. Us addicts find it hard to trust. And with Laurie and Joe, Basil, all of them, the Messa crew, I trust them all with my life.
Carrie trusts Laurie and her crew with the life of her family too. And by the end of the trip, we're going to find out exactly what that trust means. It's the kind of trust that takes hours of legwork. And it's the foundation for Renfrew County's new plan. It's called Mesa. They set up shop at a service hub called The Grind.
I think the first time I went there, I was outside to introduce myself. There were maybe 8 people outside having a cigarette, and I think like 6 went back inside and 2 stayed to talk to me. So it did take some time, and they just, I think, seeing us consistently, it was just Fridays, Tuesdays and Fridays, and now that the team has sort of stood up, I guess. We're there every day that they're open at the Grind for lunch, and we try to have someone on every weekend to cover off lunches here. So yeah, we had to earn some trust, and we have to maintain it.
Here's what that trust gets you out here: an open doorway into the world of fentanyl and homelessness. Laurie's starting her day. A tent encampment's been vandalized. A 70-year-old beaten in his sleep. He's got signs of a brain injury, doesn't want to go on camera, doesn't want to go to the hospital either, and so Laurie and a social worker get him into a motel room to recover for at least a few days. Laurie was a paramedic in Toronto. She spent 15 years there, but it's different. She knows everyone by name. Like Debbie. We run into her at a coffee shop. She's recovering from a stab wound to the face.
Everywhere you look, it's overdoses. It's not an easy drug to get off of. It's got the worst withdrawal symptoms, the longest lasting withdrawal symptoms. There needs to be a serious driving force to get someone clean of it.
It's like this all day. Downtown streets, rural areas. She's meeting clients everywhere she goes. When you hear about the fentanyl crisis, what does that look like to you?
Terrible.
Have you seen it down here on the street?
Yeah, I've seen 3 people die, like, right in front of me. It's not fun.
People you knew?
Yeah, best friends.
Can I ask you about your situation, about your story? Would you feel comfortable talking to me about that?
Drug addiction, served in the military. No.
So where do you sleep at night?
In the bush.
How long has it been like that for?
Good 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
What's sort of preventing you from finding a place to stay right now or from getting back on your feet?
Drug addiction. Yeah, that's about it right now.
Can I ask what you're using?
Fentanyl.
We've heard a lot of people overdosing on fentanyl. Obviously, a really dangerous mix right now with the benzos, the animal tranquilizers, xylazine, who knows what's in it. What are your thoughts about what you're seeing on the street? Does that scare you at all?
Sure does. Yeah.
What do you think about every time you use fentanyl?
Fuck it. But
What do you say to that? As someone who wants to help, when someone says, fuck it.
They think that maybe no one cares, but I think it's more that they think that they're not worth being cared about.
You're trying to establish the fact
Something.
that you're going to be there the next day and you're going to miss them if they're not there.
Yeah.
If you show up and they're not there.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I can't imagine what it must feel like to know that, or believe that, nobody is on your side.
Hours upon hours of conversations. It's finding people, getting them medication, wound care, temporary shelter. It's connecting them with social workers and the services that will keep them alive.
For some, it's just a really slow, long, drawn-out suicide process, is one way to describe it.
And you've just accepted that, I guess.
Well,
Had to.
you have to. I can only control what I can do for other people, which is try and set people up for success. And what they do with that is up to them. Yeah.
In between the check-ins, the inevitable calls for an overdose in progress.
Can you attach me to that call on 333 Doran, please?
It's a fentanyl overdose, and it's a client Lori knows well. They find him on the property line in between homes. He's clinging to consciousness.
Wake up, man.
He's defecated himself. There's this rush to get him to hospital. He's alive, but it's impossible to know what mix of fentanyl he's on. The batches, they just keep changing.
These are his. I'm a cop. It's not for me to take. We have Narcan. That'll kick the opiate off a receptor and help someone breathe and get a little bit better, but I can't do anything about a whole lot of ketamine and a whole lot of benzodiazepine and all the rest of it.
Is he going to be okay?
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen him this sick, but I mean, he's here and he's safe, and provided he stays for some treatment, and he's really not in a position to go anywhere right now, I think he'll be okay.
It's like this in countless cities and towns across Canada, a losing battle against opioid deaths. And it's not just fentanyl. It's fentanyl mixed with benzodiazepines, animal tranquilizers, xylazine. The list keeps growing. Paramedics and police, they keep playing catch up, and every time they attend an overdose call, they ask themselves 2 questions. 1, what's the person on? 2, if they survive, where do they take them?
There is a call in town.
What is it?
30-year-old lay on the street.
We're on another overdose call. A man's passed out on someone's front lawn. He's in and out of consciousness. His name is Mark.
So, you were seen, I guess, down the road?
Lori knows him by name. She doesn't know where he sleeps, though. No address on file. And he's incoherent, so they do what they can. How did you end up solving that?
Well, the officers were gracious enough to take the client with them, hopefully to Tim Hortons or somewhere where he can maybe grab a coffee or something to drink, and assuming that he's not banned from somewhere, and then hopefully he can perk up enough to get to wherever it is he might be staying for the night. I do recognize him from the grind and know him from there. I don't know him to be staying in one of the tents. Otherwise, I would have taken him somewhere where he could be looked after or get some sleep or something, and there's no address on his file. We figured that out, so they're gonna take him somewhere where hopefully he can perk up a little bit, and ideally he does so and doesn't sort of wander off and we find ourselves in the same situation again. So
Yeah, well, without a place to take him to,
there's nowhere to take him.
it's time and it's resources. She's got a list of people that she still needs to check up on. New drugs, new problems like lesions, infections, and the longer they go on, the higher the cost.
Homelessness isn't always rock bottom. You can go farther, as we've seen, and you can set someone up for success, but a person, as I said, has to want to keep their legs, and there's a cost to that as well. So if I can't make someone accept care, but maybe his rock bottom is losing his legs. There are real costs to not just the homelessness aspect of it, but the illness that can go with it. If you were to temporarily house to stabilize, I'm sure that's a cost, but just like a one-day cost for someone who needs that kind of, I don't know what that is. A lot, I imagine.
Here's how some researchers see the numbers. A hospital ward costs $32,500 a month. Jail, half as much. A shelter costs $7,500 a month. But if you can get someone in supportive housing, the monthly price tag drops to $3,500. And so Lori tries to meet people at The Grind. It's a coffee shop and a helping center, and it's where the Mesa teams connect with dozens of people facing addictions and homelessness.
We're feeding about 70 people a day. I'll just take you on the other side. We know our clients, we know the people that are in need, and with that builds trust. And we're getting more people to the agencies where they can get help. And I think breaking that barrier down, especially with that relationship, is where we're seeing success.
These are people like you or I, and just a few decisions led this way, and that's what Mesa's about, is getting the county in on it, getting the paramedic service in on it. You've got us, you've got the hospital, like there's so many partners in this Mesa project.
It's a one-stop shop for help. This is where we run into Carrie again. It's been days since we first met her. She's had a chance for her ribs to heal, and she's feeling good.
Last time we talked to you, Lori had checked you out and sort of given you a sense of what might be wrong with your ribs there. Does that kind of interaction, was that what led you to the hospital?
Yeah.
Would you have gone otherwise?
Lori. Would I have gone otherwise? No.
No.
But her life is about to get a lot worse. The challenge at The Grind, demand keeps piling up. It's overwhelming.
How are you feeling today? After yesterday, how does today feel?
Busy.
Lori chalks it up to growing pains because Mesa is brand new. Long term, all of Renfrew County's agencies are going to have a role to play in this solution. Mesa, in a nutshell, it's this. If you can get police, paramedics, all the service agencies to build relationships with the people at the heart of this opioid crisis, then maybe you can find out where they are, what they're on, and what services each of them actually needs to get back on their feet. And if you can do that, maybe you can prevent them from dying from the next overdose. But that kind of work takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of empathy. And the kind of person who believes that change is actually possible.
Put very simply and without getting into it, I haven't had a drink in just shy of 6 years, and I don't consider myself all that different from the clients that we're trying to serve. And I consider myself very fortunate, and that's part of my motivation for participating in this program. Understanding what I do about it, I can see how people end up where they are.
Sounds to me like you're taking some solace in the fact that you think what you're doing here is actually making a difference.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but she's not alone. Half a dozen paramedic teams are already paired up with social workers, and now OPP are on board too.
It has to be a community response. When I talked about there's nothing on my belt here that's going to solve addictions, there's nothing that's going to solve homelessness, but do we have a part to play as far as supporting members? That's our mobile crisis response team, that's those officers, now partnered up with Renfrew County paramedics, doing that outreach, getting these people connected to the right services. Hopefully. Will it happen the first time? Maybe, maybe not. Will it happen the 5th, 10th time? Maybe. All it takes is one time where they say, you know what? Yes, I need help. I want to accept this, and I want to start getting better. Why wouldn't we try something new? Because the answer is, if we do nothing, what's going to change? The answer is nothing. The cycle will continue. So at least with the MESA program, which I'm a believer in, I think that will be a serious step in the right direction as far as how we can support individuals to get them help, get them treatment, give them a roof over their heads. I believed in that message.
Everyone we spoke to agrees. It's not just policing or housing or support that's going to solve this. First, you got to address the addiction, but kicking fentanyl, that comes at a cost. We keep hearing from people who tried.
Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I want to lose everything I love and I know everything I own and everyone I know, and you know, we don't choose this life. It's almost like it chooses us in a sense.
What is it about withdrawal that people don't understand, that makes you want to take the drug again to avoid?
It's not you don't want it, you don't want it, you have to take it.
Why?
I've never been that ill in my life. I never want to go through it again in my life. And so I'm so petrified to quit, to feel like that again. I've got already. I wish I could just go back. I wish I could go back. I don't want to be like this. But my body will kill me.
But in that moment of vulnerability, Lori sees an opportunity.
You want them on their worst day. You want them on their worst day where they're so weak, or just beaten down by their addiction that they're like, I'm done, I've had enough. That's when you want to get them, because I think personally that's the greatest chance for success, is getting them at that point.
And that is why she's spending an entire afternoon searching for a guy named Brandon.
Hi, where is he? I want to do what I can for his mom. She's asked for my help. So I'm going to make a phone call and hopefully find some information. Maybe we can find him. His mother explained to me last night he's getting sick. He's getting withdrawal sick. There's one solution for that, and he's not on the methadone program.
So we keep looking for Brandon. He spent last night at the hospital. Lori brought him there, and she knows the window's closing.
He's apparently dropped off where we were. Probably a pretty good chance that he's on fentanyl, and I really hope he's not, wherever we find him, if we do. I'm looking for Brandon.
He's gone.
Lori keeps following leads, tracking his trail, but by sundown, still no sign of Brandon, and Lori's not giving up.
My word means something to me, and, you know, I want it to mean something to the people that we interact with, and if I can't follow through, it means nothing. They can't trust us.
And then she gets the call.
Overdose poisoning.
Can you attach me to that, please?
It's priority purple, immediate threat to life.
Please, guys. Oh my God.
And it's Brandon.
Brandon, I want to know that you hear me when I say your name.
The person she's been searching for all day.
Will you go with the crew when they come, though?
Yeah.
Brandon is Carrie's son.
I heard him trying to call for me. I went in and he was foaming at the mouth and shaking, and oh my God. You never want to see your kid like that. And I get the vision in my head all the time now. Whoever made this drug, oh my God.
We can go anytime. Yeah, we're good.
Can you leave you at the doors?
Yeah.
We've been in Pembroke for 3 days now, and what we found here was a community at the end of their rope, trying a totally different approach, developing human connection. That approach, though, it's taking a toll, and for paramedics it means long days, sleepless nights, and the knowledge that they're going to have to follow up on the same people day after day after day. Some of them might be ready to turn a corner, others might not, but everyone we spoke to said they feel heard, they feel seen, and when the time does come to seek help, they know exactly who they're going to be turning to.